conflict taking place in Charlotte, North Carolina. Border Patrol has now gone into the city. They left Chicago into Charlotte and what they are now calling Operation Charlotte's Web. This all from the federal government is an effort to have a crackdown on what they say are criminal illegal aliens in the city. That has been receiving ire from the governor, Josh Stein, and also from local elected officials there in Charlotte who say that it is not necessary and that it is going to cause more anxiety within the city. We have video that we've been showing even in Daybreak. You can see there people protesting against it, but also masked agents and officials who were questioning people who were hanging Christmas lights. We also saw other people being detained in video throughout the city as well, as that all started over the weekend. And we got sound from Governor Josh Stein, who said this address. We want to go ahead and play it for you with his comments on the latest federal efforts happening in a portion of his state.
It's Josh Stein. I wanted to provide an update as Customs and Border Patrol agents have been in Charlotte over the weekend. My team and I have been in regular contact with state and local law enforcement to ensure that they have the resources that they need to keep you safe. Public safety is our top priority, and our well-trained local officers know their communities and are here for the long haul. On Friday, before Customs and Border Protection came to Charlotte, I encouraged North Carolinians to follow the law, remain peaceful, and bear witness to what you're seeing. Thank you, Charlotte, for answering that call. To the CBP, if you know that we have violent criminals in Charlotte who are undocumented, we want them out too. Everyone wants to be safe in their communities. But the actions of too many federal agents are doing the exact opposite in Charlotte. We've seen masked, heavily armed agents in paramilitary garb driving unmarked cars, targeting American citizens based on their skin color, racially profiling and picking up random people in parking lots and off of our sidewalks, going after landscapers simply decorating a Christmas tree in someone's front yard, and entering churches and stores to grab people. This is not making us safer. It's stoking fear and dividing our community. I want to say a word about immigration. We are a nation of immigrants, and our state and this country is stronger because of our immigrant communities. Unfortunately, our immigration system is broken, but rather than fix it, the federal government continues to play politics with it. It is long past time for Congress to act. We need strong borders. We must hold accountable and deport anyone who has committed a serious crime, and we must create a path to legal status for those who've been here a long time, paid their taxes, and followed the law, especially our dreamers who came to this country as very young children. North Carolina, I know this is a stressful moment, but please stay peaceful. And if you see something wrong, record it and report it to local law enforcement. That's what we can do for our neighbors to keep each other safe. That's the North Carolina way. Thank you.
So you were just listening to North Carolina Governor Josh Stein, and you can clearly hear him say that he does have questions when it comes to the Border Patrol agents being in the city of Charlotte. I want to read to you a statement from the Department of Homeland Security, a spokesperson there, saying we are surging DHS law enforcement to Charlotte to ensure Americans are safe and public safety threats are removed. There have been too many victims of criminal illegal aliens, and President Donald Trump and Secretary Kristi Noem will step up to protect Americans when sanctuary politicians will not. Again, there have been videos that have been sent into news stations of people being detained. At this point, ABC News reporting from their sources that there have not been any major clashes with local police or people in Charlotte, but you can see people did protest as they heard that this was going to be coming on the way, first confirmed through a sheriff there within Mecklenburg County late last week, after we learned that they would be removing most of their presence out of that Chicago area where they had been for more than 40 plus days for an immigration crackdown effort in Illinois, okay, which also was met with a lot of clashing opinions from its governor and from the mayor of Chicago and protesters there in the city of Chicago and the surrounding communities. Just last week, too, we did hear from a lot of local officials there leading up to this. We recorded on that press conference so you can hear the people who have their boots on the ground there, what their concerns and what their questions are as they learned that the Border Patrol would be coming into Charlotte. We want to play portions of that so you can hear from them and they can speak to their concerns, their questions, their thoughts on the matter.
Because we do not want ICE here. We do not need to have Border Patrol. As I've already said, I'm not quite sure what border we're patrolling here. Are we patrolling Rock Hill or South Carolina? We don't have borders here in North Carolina that need to be protected. We don't need to be protected from Virginia, Tennessee, nor South Carolina. And I'm sorry, but people are not joining us in Wilmington. So there's absolutely no reason for us to have ICE, to have Border Patrol here. This is a safe city. Our crime rates have gone down since the previous year. This is just another something out of the playbook. When you look at Washington, D.C., the National Guard was picking up litter. So if they want people here to help us pick up litter, I think we've got that covered as well. We don't need people here to help us clean up our city. We can take care of our city. We can take care of our own. In 2016, when there were protests, we had a Democratic governor, imagine that, and a Democratic mayor. And when they thought that things were too much, they actually called in the National Guard. No one here is called in the National Guard. No one here is called in Border Patrol. We know how to take care of our city. We know how to protect our city, and we simply do not.
Okay, we just had a quick freeze there. We're going to pull that back up here in just a bit, but you can hear from them as we do that and we cue it back up, that their concerns are simply that, hey, they don't believe that this is needed, that they have the city under control. And I'll go ahead and read for you just a quick statement, too, that was sent out from leaders there in the area, if I can have that pulled up. But their concerns were simply that, hey, if you are a citizen in North Carolina, you see anything that you deem inappropriate, go ahead and record it. You heard Governor Josh Stein say that. Send it in to officials so that they can monitor it as well. They've been encouraging people to do that. And they're also saying, hey, we agree that the safety of the citizens there in the city of Charlotte and in North Carolina is of utmost importance for all officials there. The Trump administration has continued to say that this federal activity in the city is necessary, and you obviously are hearing from local leaders there pushing back on that. Okay, I do think we have that back queued up, so let's go ahead and play it again so you can listen to local officials there in the city of Charlotte express their thoughts on the new federal agents' presence there in their city on an immigration crackdown.
National Guard. No one here is called in the National Guard. No one here is called in Border Patrol. We know how to take care of our city. We know how to protect our city, and we simply do not need them here. So next up, we will hear from Representative Jordan Lopez.
Well, thank you, everybody. Good morning. In the interest of brevity, I will try to keep my remarks short. First, thank you to every one of you for being here this morning. Thank you to my colleagues across our local government for being here this morning. For my constituents, for all of our constituents, I just want to say that we see you, we are standing with you, we are here for you. Over the past several days, I've had conversations with community members, with leaders, with neighbors, and each time we talk about this expected enforcement operation from the federal government. And I'm speaking to people across all races, across all backgrounds, across legal statuses, and the common denominator is fear and concern. We've seen what has taken place in other cities across this country when the federal government gets involved. We have seen the undisciplined agents pointing weapons at unarmed civilians, the indiscriminate rounding up of civilians who are sleeping in their homes in the middle of their night in Chicago. We have seen the worst of law enforcement. And as a lawmaker myself, I know laws must be enforced, but the how matters. And whenever you decide that creating the perception of peace through fear tactics, through militarized agents walking down the street, that doesn't feel like a safe or a welcoming community to me. That feels like a prison, and that is not what the people of House District 112 are asking for. That is not what the people of the city of Charlotte are asking for, or the people across Mecklenburg County. We do not want that here. So I stand with our local law enforcement leaders, our executive leaders like Mayor Lyles, who have asked for greater communication from the federal government, because the interest of all of us, I believe, is the safety of our constituents, is the safety of our city, and we want to make sure that everybody knows we are standing with them, and we also want safe cities, but we want to make sure we do it in the right way. So thank each and every one of you all for being here again, and I believe I will be passing this off next to back to Representative Dew. Appreciate you all.
Thank you. We have so many people here to speak. I'm actually going to go to one of our community members who actually came up from Charleston without having to go through Border Patrol, who is representing SEIU.
Good morning, my brothers and sisters. It's a good morning to be here on this chilly morning, but it's an exciting morning to be here. Travel from Charleston. My name is Niecy Brown. I am the union representative for the North Carolina area. I represent the workers here in North Carolina, and I came to stand in solidarity with our politicians, our community leaders, our working families, our children, the entire Charlotte community. I actually want to say that I'm a union leader that believe in making it clear that our priority is to protect our workers, no matter who they are, no matter the color of their skin. It doesn't matter where they came from. Our priority is to protect our workers. Departing U.S. Custom and Border Control here in Charlotte does not make sense. I'm with you, sister. In our city is an attack on our community, our workers, and our First Amendment. The deployment is a pattern from the administration that target Democratic-led city, especially those led by black leaders who choose to welcome all of God's children. I don't know about you, but Charlotte is a Bible city, and we believe that we love everybody. All of us are God's children. So no workers should feel fair being in the city of Charlotte, being detained, assaulted, taken by federal agents simply for showing up for work. Amen. We don't need immigration and custom enforcement coming into Charlotte, disrupting our city, creating fear in our city and workplace, trying to divide our community and to make Charlotte a less safe place. What Charlotte needs, we need work, we need affordable housing, affordable health care, wages that we can live off, being able to go to the grocery store and not spend our entire check. That's what we need in Charlotte. Our community thrives on standing and sharing our values of freedom, opportunity, and dignity for everyone. But one thing I read, because I'm a Bible girl, I read in Psalms 29:2, and it says that whenever there is a good leader, the people rejoice. But whenever there's a wicked leader, the people groan. And I don't know about you, but we're at that point that we're groaning now because who is in leadership? There has to be something done. So immigrant workers enrich our community, help drive our nation forward. They support our family, contribute to everyday work in the city, and deserve to be safe in their workplace and their home. Let me be clear. We will not be divided by immigration status, by fear. We're going to stand together with our neighbors, with our sisters and our brothers, because I do believe that when we fight together, when we stand together, we will win this fight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Senator Caleb Tedros.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Caleb Tedros. I represent some of you all in the state Senate. We're in my district right now. The past week have shown us, what a way to govern, where we have had community members, elected officials, even reporters on these fact-finding missions just to find out whether a federal force is coming into the city of Charlotte. The number one word you're all going to hear in the next few months when it's time to campaign is going to be transparency. What part of this governing has been transparent? What part of this entire process has been fully shown so that community members know what's going on? And I understand what these community members are going through. Myself, I'm from an immigrant family. My family is originally from East Africa. So outside of dealing with the constant plight in this country of an affordability crisis, outside of the anxiety of not having somewhere where you can afford to live, you now have to have an anxiety about a federal force coming into Charlotte and you not knowing what they're going to do, you not knowing what's going to take place. The only thing you have to go off of is Twitter announcements and rumors about what's going to happen in Charlotte. That is not an effective way to govern. It doesn't take a president to know that. Excuse me. And we've seen that here even at the local level. A North Carolina State Senate and House of Representatives where we still don't have a budget. The only state in the United States of America with no budget. And of course, to take attention away from this, you have authoritarian, you have sort of these political fiascos to take attention away from that. The fact that we don't have a budget, the fact that people's health care is doubling and tripling. So what do? You have fiascos like this. You have political theater, and you have constant and new anxiety you're introducing to the public. Folks in Charlotte are not going to be made safe by this. What if you care about actual safety, you care about fully funding our police officers, you care about additional money spent on mental health resources, you care about additional resources for our public safety programs. That's how you push back against public safety. That's how you help folks. You pass a budget, you help folks with health care. You don't rely on sort of fear tactics and lack of information to hit folks at the local level. And that's what you see folks are fighting against. It's the lack of transparency, the lack of everything you all are going to hear on the campaign trail in the next few months when these people come out and talk about the great job or their lack of. And so I want to thank you all. I want to thank the speakers here and community members. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to come out here and speak your truth. And that's something that the city of Charlotte and the state of North Carolina is going to continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have Cameron Pruitt, who is with us from the Freedom Center for Social Justice.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. You know, we are 14 days into the month of November, 2 weeks from Thanksgiving, and folks still don't have their SNAP benefits. We are sitting in a city where people are planning and trying to gather together to put a turkey on the table, to bring their family members, asking them to come home and travel and be with them. But now this weekend, we have to worry if families are going to be separated and torn apart. And so as a Christian, I pray that everyone looks into their hearts and asks, what would you do if this was your family? What steps would you take? What would you donate? What would you volunteer? How loud would you yell in the streets? And so I'm asking you to do that, to stand with the Carolina Migrant Network, to shop at immigrant-owned businesses. Charlotte East has a full list. And to peacefully and prayerfully and with moral clarity take action in this moment. You have heard from speakers, this will not make our people safe. This is not a targeted action. We have seen Border Patrol use helicopters on civilian buildings and not apologize. This is not about legal status. This is about the color of someone's skin, about where they come from, and about causing fear and division. So I ask everyone, take action, stand together, take action, stand together, pray, and we will get through this. Thank you.
Next, we will have Jonelle Coswell, who was a part of the chair for the International Cabinet, also worked with International House, and is also an immigrant herself.
Thank you, Representative Dew. I don't know, maybe this isn't working. Hello, everybody, and good morning. This is a very, very dire time that we're gathering here today. I'm a proud immigrant, I'm a proud Jamaican American, and I have been a part of this community for over a decade. The immigrant community in Charlotte is vibrant, productive, and contributes over $1 billion of spending revenue each year to this community. Immigrants not only bring their culture and diversity, but we help to make this community prosperous and a healthy economic ecosystem. I have recently been grieving the loss of a very, very dear friend. And I can only imagine that this kind of grief, this kind of sorrow is only, I can't even describe what families must go through when they come home to find family members gone, missing. It is one thing if you are going after criminals. It is one thing if you're going after people who have broken the law. To have to take someone with no due process. This is not democratic, this is not American, and this is not Charlotte, and this is not this country. Now, our community is strong, and it is made stronger by the presence of immigrants and the international community.
Amen.
We need to stand together, and we need to protect our community members, because they do not come here to rob, do not come here to steal. They come here for a better life and to make this community better by working hard and participating and volunteering, just like myself. We need to stand together, and we need to protect our community members. And we have to say, no, this cannot happen, and we need to defend our democracy and make sure that there is due process. Thank you so much.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, well, we won't worry about it. I think we're all loud. All right, so next we have Council Member-elect J.D. Lasuaro Arias. And I probably butchered it, I'm very sorry.
Good morning. My colleagues will have to forgive me because I can talk a lot, and I have to say things in English and in Spanish because this is personal.
Amen.
I know what fear feels like. I know what it feels like to have it in your bones. The kind that makes you hold your breath when somebody knocks the door, and the kind that parents feel when they just hope to come back home to their children at night. That fear is not distant to me. It's a part of who I am. I grew up undocumented in Charlotte, and the neighborhoods that so many immigrant families call home. And today I stand before you as not only the first Latino, but the first formerly undocumented member of the City Council. Yesterday, the Sheriff's Office confirmed that CBP will be in our city. However, no transparency, no accountability, no explanation, not to my colleagues behind me, not to the public, not to the families who deserve to know what's happening in their own city. Let me say this clearly. This is not about public safety. It is not about finding criminals. It is about fear, it is about quotas, and it's about control. When federal agents enter our communities without warning, without cause, and without humanity, they are not keeping us safe. They are terrorizing our neighborhoods, and we do not welcome our communities being terrorized and attacked. Our Queen City will not become a staging ground for fear.
Amen.
We will not confuse cruelty with safety, and we will not allow the politics of intimidation to define who belongs here. We saw this before in Chicago, where federal actions left families broken and trust shattered, and we will not allow Charlotte to follow that same path. CBP is not the same as ICE, but both agencies have operated without transparency, without oversight, and too often without humanity. Let's be clear. The CMPD is not participating, has not been asked to assist, and has no authority to intervene. But that does not mean we are powerless. We must act, we must use every tool within our moral and civic power to protect our residents, and we must make it clear that no city property, no local resources, and no taxpayer dollars will ever be used to help carry out these operations that terrorize our people. Charlotte's immigrant story is a global one. From Colombia and Mexico, to the Congo and Ethiopia, to Vietnam and Nepal, to Ukraine and Albania. When you attack one of us, you attack all of us. When you criminalize migration, you criminalize humanity. We must lead with courage, we must move with urgency, and we must protect every person who calls this city home. We will not wait for permission to do what's right. We will not stay silent while fear spreads, and we will not let federal agencies decide who belongs in our city. And to our immigrant neighbors, you are not alone, you are seen, you are valued, and you belong here. Charlotte's strength has never come from fear. It has come from faith in one another, from the courage of those who built this city with their hands, and from the love that binds us together. We do not welcome terror, we do not consent to cruelty, and we will not let fear define who we are, not in Charlotte, not in our Queen City, not on our watch. Buenos días. Esto es personal.
You were just listening to local leaders there in Charlotte, including, as you heard him identify himself as the first formerly undocumented resident to become a member of the Charlotte City Council there. And they are expressing their thoughts and concerns about Border Patrol agents coming into their city for an immigration crackdown that really kicked off over the weekend. That was previously recorded there prior to it. We do have a video of an interview with a local owner, a business owner there in Charlotte, who says he witnessed some of the encounters with the federal agents there in his city. We do want to play his interview to get his account to see what he saw and what he thought when he encountered what took place there in Charlotte.
This past Saturday, I was walking here on this avenue, and then these unmarked cars just approach just four guys jump out from the car and threw pedestrians down to the floor, and all of these people could be customers from my bakery. And then these cars start coming here to my parking lot as well. It's the first time in 28 years that we closed the bakery. The only time that we had closed it was a few hours when the founder passed away in 2014. So I decided not to risk my customers, not to risk my employees, and not risk myself and my family. That could be myself, my wife, or my kids who were working on the streets, and they just turned down to the floor like what I saw. So it's too risky, and I don't want to carry on my shoulders the heaviness of maybe a kid to lose their father or their mother because they were on their way to the bakery to get a cake. Yeah, I've been carrying my passport all this year. And nowhere in the Constitution says that as an American citizen I had to carry my passport to show that I'm an American citizen. But because the color of my skin, my race, my accent, and I feel like they are profiling me, and I don't want to go through all this process like we have seen and like what I saw, getting hit on the floor, and 10, 20 minutes later, threw me to the street when they realized that they found out I'm an American citizen. If they already knew that there is like some criminals, why they didn't send the information to the CMPD and to the cops here? Saturday they picked 81 people from the street, and just like 7 of them had like some criminal issues. Why they didn't send the information to our local police enforcement? I think and I feel this is more just like intimidation and trying to scare us. And a family separation is the biggest thing here. Our children losing their parents or their mothers.
You were listening there to a business owner there in Charlotte who says he has closed his doors at this point, at least temporarily shut down, after he saw and witnessed people being stopped by Border Patrol agents just steps from the storefront. That is the owner of a beloved Charlotte bakery. His name is Manolo Betancourt. You heard him say there, he's been operating that business for 28 years, and he says he hasn't had a moment where he's thought to close and shut down in a situation quite like this in the time in which he's owned that business. He said he saw people throw individuals onto the street. He says that they didn't ask them what their status was, and that is what kind of triggered for him the concern that led for him to do this. He says he's going to keep his storefront closed until he feels as though people can walk up to his business and feeling safe. Now, on the flip side of that, he says, people have shown a lot of love since this has taken place. He says at this point, people have walked up not for bread or things from the bakery, but just to give a hug and get words of encouragement and to share them with him as well. And so he's not the only business along that corridor that has been hosting conversations. I'm looking at reporting from our sister station there in Charlotte, WCNC, which has been following all of this very, very closely. That's a business owner there, bakery owner in Charlotte, saying for the first time since opening more than 2 decades ago, he says that he drove by several businesses right next to him and they were closed because of their own concerns there. I also want to bring attention to something else here. Sarah, I'm going to try to bring something into, I'm going to talk about it, but bring it into Scan PC right now. This is a post that was put out by Border Patrol agents, and I want to make sure that we have this because it's a situation they say has taken place since all of this took place. Hold on 1 second here so I can get us queued up. I just want to make sure I have the right information available to us. Here we go. Sarah, you'll see it in just a moment once we put it into the system. It is a X post on X, the social media platform, by Homeland Security about a situation that took place over the last few days here. This was actually posted yesterday evening. And so I'm going to, you see it there, Sarah? There we go. Okay. Okay, while she pulls that up here, you're looking at video of a situation that Homeland Security says an officer was injured while a driver allegedly rammed multiple law enforcement vehicles during this federal immigration operation there in Charlotte. This would have been in a northeast Charlotte area. That is a post there by Homeland Security that you are seeing at the moment. I'm going to read what they say. They say this afternoon, again, this was yesterday, a U.S. citizen weaponized his vehicle driving a large van at law enforcement while they were conducting an operation. He immediately fled that area, started a dangerous high-speed chase through a densely populated area. During that chase, he attempted to ram into law enforcement vehicles, posing a serious public threat as agents were boxing him in. He said the driver proceeded to ram law enforcement vehicles in an attempt to escape. When the driver was arrested, a firearm was found in the vehicle. One law enforcement officer was injured. The perpetrator has prior arrests for resisting law enforcement, according to Homeland Security. So a few things that we learn in that off the bat. We learn again that an officer was injured when a driver allegedly rammed these multiple law enforcement vehicles. What we have there is at least part of what Homeland Security says is a part of the chase. that you're looking at there. The video shows that van driver evading multiple Border Patrol agents. We're told this is near a shopping center in University City, that area of Charlotte. They have not identified, as you can tell from that tweet, they have not identified who the driver is, but they did confirm that it is a U.S. citizen. Okay, so apparently what we know that this all became a high-speed chase that went through that area before that person was taken into custody, and that this person allegedly had prior arrest for evading police. And so that is a situation obviously we're going to continue to follow and look for more information. A big thing also to keep in mind with that, DHS agents say that they found a gun in that vehicle also. Okay.